everyone, I'm Frank Mallicoat. I'm an anchor reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest has a PhD in clinical psychology. He's the author of 5 bestsellers, and he's president of Dynamic Leader Incorporated. And he's here to help us kind of navigate our new normal, so to speak. Say hi to Dr. Wayne Pernell. Hi, Doc. How are you?
Hey, Frank. It's been an amazing 7 months, hasn't it?
Oh, we're all at home, and we've developed new habits, some good, some not so good, but we'll break it down here a little bit. Before we dive in, Doctor, why don't you tell us about Dynamic Leader Incorporated? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, dynamic leader is all about breaking through. So everybody has a level of success, and at some point you get to this place where you go, is this it? Is this it? They have targets that they've set, and sometimes when you work towards those targets and you actually reach them, it doesn't feel really fulfilling. And so dynamic leader is all about breaking through to your next big next, and recognizing that success is very dynamic, and that engaging as a leader means that you are showing up with full presence. And so anybody can be a leader. Anybody can be a leader because we're all being watched. How are you reacting to this? How are you reacting to that? And if you actually have someone that you are a team that you are leading, whether that's your family or a team at work, these are different times, right? So a little bit of guidance. I do individual work, I do group work, I do company and corporate consulting as well.
Well, it is a time where a lot of decisions are being made. If you're the head of the household or in a business, a lot of people have had to pivot in a quick way. But with this big blanket of COVID, it's been tough for some. Why do we worry so much about the unknown?
Well, it's scary, right? The unknown, in the absence of information, we fill in the gaps, right? And usually we catastrophize. Usually it's no one goes, "Oh, I haven't heard from so and so in a while. They must be having a great time. They must be doing wonderfully." It's like, I wonder what's wrong. I wonder if they're okay. And so, right, we as humans have this tendency to go down a path of it must be terrible. And part of that is what we're exposed to all the time, right? And so this is an opportunity to turn that around and really recognize, what do you have control over? Because, in the absence of information, you could use your imagination instead of going to things are terrible to this place of, wow, things actually could be good. What can I do to make sure that happens?
Talking about decisions, big ones are hard enough to make. But now we have this subset of smaller decisions. Do I wear a mask today? I'm only going to meet with that guy for a little bit. Nah, do I go to Trader Joe's today, or do I, order out? I mean, just simple tasks that we used to take for granted now have implications, and that's made it difficult for some.
It's true. I think, Frank, I think that we need to be focused on what choices we actually have. And it's like, well, yes, we're going to wear a mask until we're told that it's okay and that we're safe not to. It's sort of like being told we need to wear a seatbelt, right? A lot of people have pushed back against the mask. Well, there is some science that says a seatbelt works. There is some science that says that a mask works. And so now the choice is, what color mask do I wear, right? Is it the one with the animals on it? Is it the one with the branding on it? Is it the just plain old black or blue, or, whatever? Is it, right? So we do have choices in how we show up. And then in terms of going shopping, we know that there are some things that are available to us, which is great. There's no more run on toilet paper. We don't have to hoard that, and chicken. It's like that got ridiculous, didn't it? So now it's like, well, what is in my control? And I think we need to come back to 3 key areas that really, really make a difference. Come back to 3 key areas. One, resilience. We have had the strangest time, and nobody's going to dispute this, in 2020, right? So we get in there, people are a little sick, and then all of a sudden, oh, it is a pandemic, right? And so that's the thing to remember as we talk about a pandemic, is that no one woke up and said, today, Frank, I'm going to mess with you. It's like, no, it's global pandemic, right? So it's not you're being picked on. It's it's like, okay, this is a thing that the world is taking on and having to deal with. It is not political. It is not a left or right thing. It is a global thing. And I read newspapers from around the world, so I can see how other countries are dealing with things. I think that's really important. So remember, we've gotten through the past 7 months. The first month, it was like, what is this? The second month, boy, I'm tired of it. The third month, wow, is this really continuing?
Just
Here
going to
we
be
are,
over. Yeah.
right? 7 months, it's like, this is getting old. And we got through it. So that's something really important to remember. The next thing besides resilience is that in the absence of information, there are unknowns. And we've gotten through day after day after day of unknown, which means that we are people of courage. We've gotten through the unknowns, and that takes courage to get through another day of, I don't know what this day holds. And then the third thing is something we've talked about a little bit, which is, remember, you've got choice. Choice really puts you back in power. What do you have choice about? I have choice about the color of my mask. I have choice about whether I choose to eat in a restaurant now, or choose to just take carry out, or choose to just get my groceries and go home and not touch anything. Awesome. I don't know if you can see, there's a table just off to my side. I'm expecting some people over. This is a meeting room that I'm in, and we will stay socially distant. On the table, alcohol gel, alcohol wipes, anything that is touched mutually will be wiped down. And so the choice is, are you prepared, right? Are you prepared for that? And I think that's really, along with having food and beverage, I will have alcohol wipes and sanitizing gel. It's like, that's all part of what we need to consider now too.
I wrestled in high school and college, and I remember my Cal college coach used to say, if you convince the mind, the body will follow. And it's
Yes.
all about attitude. I mean, if you think the sky is falling, well, it's probably going to fall. But if you get out and go, hey, we can deal with this, part of it starts within, right? Just when you get up in the morning and saying, today's going to be a good day, COVID or not.
100%. It's all about attitude. You will find more of what you focus on. So whether it's that particular color of car, or you buy a car and suddenly every car on the street
Right.
is now like yours, right? So you find more of what you focus on. I have this is my personal habit. How I start my day, I open my eyes and the first words out of my mouth are, thank you, right? So I start in the space of gratitude. I get to have another day. I get to be of service to other people. And I think that's really important, because you show up and it's not about, what do I get, right? There's enough competition out there. And and it's an abundant space. Like, we are in a place where there is enough. When you show up in service to others and recognize that you can give and maybe make somebody else's life a little bit easier, your life gets easier.
Sure
And
does.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing, right? That ripple effect is huge. You can affect people's lives that you've never even met, and that's magical.
That is. You do a lot with leadership, with
I do.
companies and folks. Um, we need more of it these days. If you're the head of the household or running a company, people are looking up to these people for guidance. If it's your mom or dad or brother or your boss, how can you be a better leader in today's society? And it could be the smallest of small.
Yeah. Yeah, so from the very smallest, recognize that you are a leader, right? That if you're a single person and you go to the grocery store, you are modeling the way. And if you walk in, like, have you noticed people are afraid behind a mask? People are afraid even to have eye contact. And it's like, if I don't see you, I won't get any on me. And the
Right.
truth is, we need that.
Yeah.
That leadership is about a focused presence that demonstrates calm, that demonstrates deliberate, that demonstrates excellence, that demonstrates peace, right? And so really, what do other people want? If you think about what you want during the day, most people want to be acknowledged, right? People want to know that what they're doing matters. So this is leadership, right? Management, by the way, is different than leadership. Management is based in the root words of manos, which means hands, which is hands-on. Management is hands-on.
Get to work.
Leadership is about being out in front. And so what people want is to know that, is what I'm doing, does it matter, right? Tell me I'm doing meaningful work. And two, did you see me? And that is so essential, because human to human, we are in a space where it feels like we're not acknowledging each other anymore. And we need to. We need to recognize that we're in a place where I see you is a magical statement. I see you, dear human, I see you, right? So if you're in a leadership position, in your family, on your sports team, in your company, in your division, in the world, it is about, I see you, you're valuable. And even from behind a mask, we can still be in a place of, I see you,
I'm,
and I appreciate you, right?
oh,
How
that's so
hard is that as a leader, right? How hard is that?
so important. I'm a compliment guy. You know, if I see something done well, if it's a top line at work or a good piece, send such and such a nice note, and got a compliment goes a long way. And we could all use a few that boys, you know, like, I
Yeah,
see you, doctor, and you're doing a great job. It just makes you feel better. It makes you
exactly.
want to do more.
It's so true. I don't know if you got a chance to read my last blog. I know that you've been kind of seeing some of the work that I've been doing out there.
Sure.
My last blog was called "Why We Need Six Pennies," and it was, I talk about having 6 pennies in my right hand pocket, and that during the day I years ago I ran a lock psychiatric facility, and I had 120 staff members, and I made a challenge for myself to offer 6 compliments. And every time I would do a compliment, I would move a penny from my right pants pocket to my left pants pocket. And
Oh,
at the end of the day, I would come back and I would go, how is it possible that I've had that many potential interactions with people and I've only given 4 compliments, right? I had 2 pennies left. It's like, oh, right. And so it's really, it's easy to get involved and so lost in what we're doing that we miss the opportunity to engage. And real leadership is about engagement and empowerment and lifting others. And we need to be practicing that.
wow. Some great thoughts there. My dad was a pretty wise guy. He said, if you want to grow, you got to go. You got to move, Frank. You can't sit, you know, behind a closed door and say no all the time. And
Exactly.
so this really is almost like a teaching situation for all of us, because life's not stopping. It's still going on. You still got to pay your rent. You got to eat. You got to do things. So, hey, I'm an optimist. I always make the best out of anything. So we really need to kind of live by that credo a little bit, I think. Like, you know,
True.
keep going, you know, start
Yeah,
living, even though, you know, we
exactly.
got some new rules here.
Well, think about this. We've been given an opportunity, right? And it's like, oh, this great pandemic that's, killing people is an opportunity. Well, it's given us the chance to recognize what we value in a way that if we were so on the go, we would miss. We have had the opportunity by staying in place to recognize, wow, you know what? I actually value I value not being on the road so much. I value my connection with my family. I value nature more than I thought. And that is kind of magical too. Like to think about, wow, I was so busy driving that I missed that I had a park down the street, right?
Or
That
eating dinner with your family.
yes.
That's becoming, you know, people are kind of getting down to the basics again. You know,
Isn't that great?
it is
Right?
great.
Isn't that great?
I think it is. Um, how about families out there? If finally, if there's some folks out there that are kind of full of doubt and just feel like they have this big blanket of COVID on them, what's your advice to them?
Yeah, well, actually, new research out of the University of Iowa, it came out very recently, and it talks about the value of expressing your emotions, just to normalize that. So, being with family, I think having a family connection is huge, and to be involved and to ask open-ended questions, not just what did you work on today, which is an open-ended question. Did you have fun today is a closed question. But what was the biggest thing you learned today? How are you feeling? Those are great questions because they are growth oriented questions, and I think this is a time that we could really guide our families and ourselves. We talked about mindset. This is a chance to ask the right questions that even opens up your own thinking. How did you grow today? And that presumes that that was an intention. Today, I intend to grow. How many people have that when they start the days? Well, if you bring that to your family and you start to make that a norm, what did you learn? How did you grow?
How far will
And
you
it's like,
go?
say it again,
I said, and how far will you go if that's how you wake up every morning too? Yeah, kind of
right?
embracing the day. That's one of my big. I go embrace your day. You know,
Eh,
I don't think people realize if you live to be 82, you've lived 30,000 days. We all live for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are just as important. You may not be doing exactly what you want to be doing, but we're not here that long, so
That's right.
embrace it
That's right.
for
That's
sure.
right. You leave a lasting legacy by becoming significant in someone's life, and you become significant by moving through influence, which is very often look at me, to what I call outfluence, which is positively and deliberately lifting and positively affecting someone's life. That's what I call outfluence. And then you move past success, which is what did you get? And you move to significance, which is what did you give? And that is how you leave a lasting legacy.
Well, I won't end on that note. I'm going to let you plug your books because I know you've got 5 books out there,
I do.
Chasing Your Power, among others. Why don't you tell us about your books and how people can get in touch with you?
Thank you. Yeah, choosing your power is actually the first one. My baby, choosing your power. And then yes, I wrote one with Brian Tracy, and I have uh, the significance factor. So choosing your power is really about how do you step in and own your space. I do retreats and online courses on the Powerful Presence program, and it's based on choosing your power. How are you communicating? How are you engaging in relationships? What words are you using? So there's a lot in that. In a couple of the others, I'll just highlight a few of them. The significance factor I actually have as a available as a free download for anybody who would like to see my #1 best-selling book, The Significance Factor, which talks about moving from significance from success to significance, right? How do you measure success? And that changes based on who you are in the world or where you are in your lifeline, right? To significance. So the significance factor is available, and you'll post my website, waynepernell.com. If you spell my name right, it's all good. It's right there. Dynamicleader.com will get you there too. Uh, Dynamic Transitions is a book that I think so many people could value as well, because our values have changed. You're not the same person you were 20 years ago, right? So people go, well, I still have my same core values, and that's true. Love, integrity, truth, honesty, even working hard. Those are core values that we've taken on. But the peripheral values, think about who you were when you were 20. Look at me, look what I can do. When you're 30, it's like, look at the stability I'm building. I've, established a career. And when you're 40, it's, let me start to build my legacy. When you're in your 50s, it's like, let me think about my health a little differently and maybe travel. And in your 60s, that gets even more enhanced. And so dynamic transitions is about moving boldly and gracefully into your next great phase of life. So yeah, if people go to my website, you'll be able to see the books section, and I do have 5 of them out there.
Well, Dr. Wayne Pernell, we want to thank you. Some great insight, and I feel like I got to send you a check for therapy today. It was great.
Frank, it's so good. It's so good to be able to do this with you and to share this kind of information with our audience. Thank you. This is a pleasure.
A lot of folks are going to see it as well. He is Dr. Wayne Pernell. I am Frank Mallicoat. If you'd like more information, you can also go to newsnowfox.com. Have a great day, everybody.